Hey everyone, John Fenton here, the CEO Sensei, and I'm with Lea Woodford. And this is really an amazing woman. She's CEO and founder of SmartFem Media Group, full service and digital marketing company, an advertising company. She's a radio and TV personality. She has a couple of TV programs where she hosts on Amazon Prime, which is really, really cool. She's a magazine, produces magazines. She's really innovative. She is an entrepreneur at heart. She has run several businesses. And I'm just so blessed to have you on with me today, Lea. Thank you.
Oh, John, it's my pleasure. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you. I also forgot to mention Lea is also a best-selling author. What's the title of your book again, Lea?
It's Lead, Share, and Empower: My Strategies for Success in Life and Business.
Yeah, and that's so prescient nowadays, right? I mean, there's so many things going on. I mean, this is really unprecedented, Lea. What do this whole pandemic and what's happening? Tell me, what are your thoughts about that? What's going on now? What do we need to be focusing on as entrepreneurs and CEOs?
Well, fortunately for me, I'm a military brat. So I was always the new kid. We moved every 2.5 years. So I'm very used to, and I'm comfortable with change. And I think that's why it was really an easy transition for me to be an entrepreneur, because I really thrive on change and I don't like things to get stagnant. And I think having the right mindset right now is everything, because mindset is always going to be 90% of your success anyway. And look at this, I'm telling my clients and the people in my circle, people tell me all the time, I don't have the time. Well, guess what? Now you have the time.
Right.
Create that side hustle, double down, but be flexible and adaptable. And you got to go where the food is, John.
That is so true. It's so true. And I think a lot of us, my experience is a lot of us have a hard time having all this extra time on our hands. It's unnerving to many of us. And certainly there's a great ton of just massive uncertainty out there in the world right now.
Well, that's really going to be difficult for paycheck players. So what I'm going to say, guys, is you're going to want to create time blocks, and you're going to want to learn a little self-discipline. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. This is my 4th business. And I've sold a couple of them, and I'm just going to tell you, you want to build to scale and eventually sell. So what you want to do is create something that will create multiple streams of income, whether you're actually able to work or not, because we just don't know with this pandemic or, even a future recession. I mean, a lot of people were leveled in 2008, John, with the recession. So I think now's the time to double down, learn new skill sets, be flexible, but to really figure out who you are, who you serve, how you serve, and what your core benefit is for the people that hire you.
That's really good advice. So, you mentioned the 2008 downturn and recession, and really in some cases, maybe even a depression. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've lived through other crises and other things that have happened. Tell me, give me one or two tips, if you will, but how did you handle those crises in your own business, and what did you do that really set you up for success after the crisis was over?
Well, first of all, I've been a real estate investor since I was 18 with my aunt. So I've always believed in real estate, rental properties, but I've always loved something tangible. For me, the market has always been really volatile and it wasn't tangible. So I haven't really focused on that. I've really focused on the things that are tangible. I look for items that are tangible and scalable. And I believe that you have to diversify. Like, we started out with one flagship magazine, smartfem.com. And now we have a second one, SmartFem Success Magazine, which is digital and print, and it's very niched. The riches are in the niches, John. When when you drill down deep and the roots are deep, it's just like a strong wind. You're gonna survive the wind if you go deep versus wide. And that's the problem that I see with a lot of people, is they're going wide instead of deep. Double down on your relationships, build the relationship. So even if, like, I had a client who's been with me for 8 years, and he called me yesterday, he goes, God, I really hate you all, but you know, I'm laying half my staff off. And he goes, I don't want to let you go. We hit the pause button for 3 months. Absolutely. Will I keep working for him? Absolutely. You know, no, I am not changing anything, because he's been there for me and he'll be back again. And I know that was a really hard call for him to make. So, you know, but he's laying half his staff off. I'm just the company he advertises with. But really what you do is you double down on the value. Don't discount your pricing. You know, a lot of people go, well, what should I do right now? Don't discount your pricing, just up level your service right now. So people really see additional value. How can you provide more when people are so freaked out right now?
Right. Actually, it's, you know, the kind of the giving mentality, right? Whether it's in your local community or with your customers. I started reaching out to my clients and past clients and saying, hey, it's a crazy time. You know, what can I do to help you? And just offering some things to them that I'm not even charging them for, just to give them a sounding board or something that they can really get value from without, you know, without freaking out and dealing with all the uncertainty. And I think that's really massive, massive uncertainty out there right now that we're all faced with. You know, when is this really going to, you know, when is this going to end is the big question, I think.
I think you're right about that. And I think we're going to be hunkered down for a while, John. I don't see this, you know, the political climate is just really, I don't believe that is really who we should be listening to when it comes to pandemics and viruses and stuff of this nature, where it's life and death. I think we actually have to listen to the medical experts, and that's where I'm hunkered down. But fortunately for me, you know, I'm a digital marketer, so you have to be nimble, because it's a moving target. Every time you figure it out, they change it again. You know, there's always going to be a new platform or a new social media or something new coming along. So you have to be able to adapt and change and pivot when stuff like that happens.
I think that's really great advice. I was reading an article earlier this week, Adam Bryant with Merrick and Company, which is a large consulting firm, and they have really right on point with that. You've got to be adaptable. Got to be flexible. It really requires a flexible mind to be able to flex with everything that's going on. And maybe it's a time to not do business always as, sometimes we resist, right? We want things to be the same as they were, but they're not. The reality is they're not. And so we resist, and we miss opportunities. I know there's got to be some opportunities out there for all of us in our businesses. Do you agree with that?
I agree. Well, look at this. The market crash of 1929. More millionaires were made at that time, when it was the largest crash in, you know, since the stock market started. I mean, downturn times are always great opportunities, and that's how I see it. I mean, same thing in 2008. I had a ton of friends who were wiped out. I've never lost money in real estate ever. You know, I think it's a time to double down, because there's going to be a lot of panic and fear, you know, and you know, I just hate to say this, but I'm going to say it now. You know, in a couple of months, it's going to be a great time to, you know, start investing in real estate again. Right. You know, you can look at it as fear, or you can look at it as opportunity. I choose to look at it as opportunity, you know, and I think that's just, you know, and how can you serve? You know, this is an opportunity to be a great leader.
Exactly. It's really about choice. We have a choice, right? All of us have a choice. And, you know, to really stand out and be a leader and not just follow the tide, just follow the tide, and really stand out and be a leader, find the positive in everything that we're doing. And just you keep moving forward, keep taking action, keep moving forward, because this is not going to last forever. This is not a permanent thing.
No, it's not permanent. And the people that adapt right now are going to be the ones that do really well. Now is a great time to double down and build your platform. The other thing is there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of people on social media right now because they don't know what else to do. Now's the time to build your platform and take the lead.
Right. Yeah, it's really getting out there, having more people find you on the internet and social media, and really providing value. And you know this concept: give, right? Constantly giving, sharing meaningful content is really important. What are some of the ways that you are doing that through SmartFem and some of the other businesses that you have right now?
Well, you know, John, you were actually supposed to come to the SmartFem Summit April 23rd and 24th. And
I was all ready to go. I was all ready to go.
Well, now you're going to have to change the live to October 8th and 9th, but we are still going to have the summit, but we have pivoted to make April 23rd, 24th a virtual summit. All of my speakers said, yes, we still want to do this. Nice. And we're just serving in a different way, John. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now people will not have one summit, they'll have two. You know, for the price of one. How great is that?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. I had a live event for CEOs last week, and I had to beginning a week ago, at the beginning of the week, I just said, well, this is going virtual because no way we're going to do it live in person. It's going to be an in-person event in Atlanta, and I had to shift and made it happen. And there's going to be more of that going on, more adaptability, more shifting, and giving more of ourselves.
I think that's right. And I think it's not, but it's about providing additional and more important value that's relevant value to get people through this tough time. Absolutely.
Lead, share, and empower your book. Tell me more about your book.
That years to write a book, and I really didn't feel like I could write the book till I had come through everything I went through. It's about overcoming challenges. When I wrote that book, I had just went through a divorce. I had lost my career. I had a rare form of skin cancer. They took the right side of my face off, and it was 11 months and 5 surgeries putting me back together again. Wow. And I was on camera talent. So I really had to figure out, okay, what's my next move? And to be honest with you, John, you know, going through all that and then your husband filing for divorce, you're not feeling like you have anything to, you're not feeling much value because everything, my fortune had been made by my face, going on camera, talking to people, and that was gone. So the magazine really kind of saved my life in so many ways. It was a promise that I made to my daughter in 2009 that I would create something that would educate, empower, and inspire women. And it was that promise that I made to her that kept me going. And I felt finally, after I came through everything and I had the success with my business, then I was able to write the book. But I'm one of those people that believe in social proof. I don't write things to write things. I have, you know, I can't write about success if I don't have it. So I had to come out the other side first.
How do you think that experience, has helped you to set your mindset and what you're doing now in your life and what's going on?
Absolutely. My life is so rich right now. I mean, you know, fighting divorce and cancer and, you know, starting almost at zero again financially. Yes, I'm not one of those women that divorce and walk away with a big settlement. I walked away with goose egg. So because I'd worked all my life and I'd been self-supporting, but, you know, I don't think the courts have really caught up with everything with technology and, you know, so it was great for me in the fact that I really learned that, you know what, you have to count on yourself. And my dad always told me that. My dad wouldn't pay for my college because I was a girl. He thought it was a waste of money because I was going to get married anyway. So I've always known that I had to count on myself. And I have to tell you, John, when you overcome something like that, I feel like I didn't overcome anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you really, it was such a pleasure to meet you in person a couple months ago at that summit we were at. And I really sensed your inner strength. Where do you think that inner strength for you comes from?
I think I'm just hard-headed. I think that, well, I'm a Capricorn. I am driven, and I made a promise to my little girl in 2009, and I have to, I will die before I, go back on that promise. I think that, when we make a commitment to people, we make a commitment, but when it's your child, it's that much more intense, or at least it is for me. And so I really can't go back on my word ever when it comes to her.
So we've been taking a look back a little bit. Let's look forward. What is on the horizon for you and for SmartFem and all the things that you're doing? What do you see happening for you? What are your vision, or what's your breakthrough goal possibly that you want to share with everybody?
You know what? I really actually want to teach a course on this, navigating adversity and challenges, because yes, we have the pandemic, but we are heading into a recession, my friend. And I've known that for a long time. I was a mortgage broker, so I've known that the bubble was going to burst for a long time. So getting people around the right mindset, knowing what to do in times of adversity, and just taking action is the biggest thing. People become paralyzed with fear. Sure. And even if you make the wrong move and you take action, then you can see that you need to make a course correction, because really what the difference between paycheck players and entrepreneurs is really decision making. When you're a paycheck player, somebody else is making the decisions for you. When you're an entrepreneur, it's all about decision making, fast decision making, making course corrections. Fail fast, fail cheap. So right, you can, exactly. And you're a problem solver. When you work for somebody else, you really, you don't have the same level of that. So I like it. Win or fail, it's on me, and I'm okay with that.
That's really awesome. Now, I also know you're an accomplished and award-winning speaker. Tell me about what are some of the topics that you speak on. I know you've spoken a lot and have some great messages in your speaking. What are some of your favorite topics that you like to speak about?
And I've been speaking about change, innovate, or die for a really long time. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorites. It's funny, I'm getting a lot of inquiries about that one right now.
Yeah, the time is now, right?
Yeah, that was one that I started speaking about in 2008, because I was on an 8-city tour, talking to insurance companies about personal branding and everything, and how you can stand out. Because whether you're a real estate agent, a coach, or a salesperson, you really have to kind of know how to connect with people and go deep instead of wide, and really create a strong personal brand that really goes well with your corporate brand.
Right.
But when the market fell out, then it was just like, okay, you got to pivot. And so change, innovate, or die has been around since then. And it's one of my favorites, because if you look, John, I mean, we've had iconic companies like Woolworth and Oldsmobile and Pontiac,
right,
go out of business because they wouldn't innovate. We've Blockbuster. Look what Netflix did.
Right.
Borders. Barnes and Noble did a pivot. The companies that didn't pivot are gone.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's interesting. I was reading an article recently I mentioned earlier. and the CEO was in Asia at the time, the tail end of the SARS epidemic.
Oh, yeah.
And he said it was very interesting to watch some companies that they embraced what was happening, they accepted what was happening, they embraced it, and they found new opportunities to do business differently on a long-term basis. And there were other companies that had a mindset of, well, this will last for 4 months and then we'll go back to business as usual.
I don't think you can ever have that mindset.
Yeah. And why is that? Why do you think that is?
Because think about this. I mean, in 2008, we were still doing some manufacturing because we're a global economy now. I mean, pretty much nothing is manufactured in the United States, and as soon as we figure it out, technology changes. I mean, it's evolving faster than our laws can even keep up with. So I think that you're going to have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
And you're going to have to be a perpetual student, because the minute and I've learned this as a marketer, the minute you figure it out, they're going to change the game again.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
I think I've read the quote, and I think you've probably heard this too, that everything you want is outside your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
Right.
I haven't seen my comfort zone in years, but I'm really getting more comfortable just being out there. I know a lot of people are freaking out right now, but hey, I had to live without a face for 11 months. So,
You've been through so much. It really is a testament to who you really are. And I think one of the things you mentioned too about, your branding and that, I think too, you need to be authentic, right? You got to be who you really are. And your company, if you're the leader of the company, it's going to take on your persona. And it really, I think it really needs to be the most authentic version of you that you can be. Don't you think?
I don't know how to be anybody else. But the other thing is, you can Google everything. You can find out everything about everybody. I'm 58 years old. I'm not going to pretend I'm 30. I don't want to be 30 again, first of all. But every mistake, every little mishap you've ever made is going to be right there online. So you might as well just tell the truth,
right.
Be who you are. And you know what? People, no matter who you are, some people are good. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, John.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. That's the beauty of getting older. You kind of just really are okay with that.
Well, I would just say that you're a beautiful person.
Oh, thank you.
And inside and out. And, tell me about, are there some driving values or principles that you follow in your life? And maybe are there one or two or three that you'd like to share?
Yeah, you know what? I am not a Bible thumping Christian, but I'm totally a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Christ. And I believe in doing the right thing. I believe that when you say you're going to do something, you have to do it. And, I believe that, we're supposed to send the ladder back down, and we're supposed to take care of those who can't take care of themselves, and be the person that you want to attract. I've always believed that.
Great.
And I think that if you you hear this all the time. I think if you under promise and really over deliver, then you're not going to be that hamster on the wheel, and that you'll have clients for life.
Good deal. Good advice. So I want to go to kind of a lightning round, if I will, just a few questions for you.
Fire away.
and then tell everybody how they can reach you and find you. What is your favorite vacation spot?
It's not a spot. It's several. I love, again, it's the journey. I love being in the plane with my husband, because he's in his moment. I don't care whether we're going to Vegas or Santa Barbara or New York. When he's in his element and I'm up there with him, that to me is magical. Being in the clouds and being away from everybody, it's just, I can feel the stress just lifting because I'm with the person I love most, and I get to see him in his element. I'm in the clouds. That to me is magical.
That is magical. Now, I saw a video of you flying. Was that for your first time flying a plane?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Nope. I fly a lot. My
Okay.
dad had planes. I'm embarrassed. I have a thing for pilots. You know, my husband is my second husband who's flown. So I've been privy to fly a lot. I don't have my license, and it was something that I really wanted to do, but once again, my dad wouldn't let me get my license because I was a girl. So now that I have the opportunity, I get to do it all the time anyway, so I don't feel the need to, but I do know how to. I would never land though, you know, not without instruction.
Got it, right. I got it. Tell me, what's any books that you're reading currently or read recently that stand out? You'll enjoy reading.
Oh, yes. I got this book and I got it for my kids. I got to interview Panache Desai. He is like the new Deepak Chopra. And he was my surrogate Valentine. He was here by himself and Paul was flying. So we spent 2 days together. I got to interview him. He's written an amazing book called You Are Enough. And it is a bestseller. And I loved it so much that I bought the Audible version for my kids too. He's from India and he has a British accent, but his words are so masterful. And I think it's a message that people need to hear right now. So. Right.
Panache Desai, You Are Enough is the book, right?
You Are Enough. And it's so good. And I'm going to recommend the Audible version too, because his accent is lovely. And he is a wordsmith. He is an artist with words. But I really enjoyed that book. I always go back to the classics. You know, I love Stephen Covey. I'm just going to say Jack Canfield, Principles of Success. Love him. I've interviewed him. It was a blessing because he changed my life when I was in my 20s and my company went bankrupt. And I was a single mom with kids and I hadn't gotten a paycheck in 3 months. So he got me through it and taught me how to manifest. So I got to tell him that story. That was really magical for me. So I love what I'm doing because I get to meet amazing people. I wish Alice Cooper would write a book because he's a brilliant man and a brilliant businessman.
Yeah. And if looking back, is there anything you would have done differently as an entrepreneur starting out? That what you know now, what you didn't know then, is there anything you would do differently when you first started out as an entrepreneur?
You know, hindsight's always 20/20, John. I don't think that I would appreciate the wins as much as I did if I hadn't gone through what I'd gone through. I wouldn't wish them on anybody else. But I don't think I would be who I am today if I hadn't gone through them.
Sage advice. Very good. So how can people reach out to you? How can people find you?
You know, go to smartfem.com. That's our award-winning magazine. John, if I could put this out there, though, I have an amazing magazine for entrepreneurs. It's called Smart Fem Success. If you go to smartfemnetwork.com/magazine, there are some amazing articles from everybody from Jack Canfield to my friend Michelle Soro, who's teaching live video mastery. I really think education is the key right now. And now that, you know, everybody has all this time, it is the time to hunker down and invest in you. It's a free magazine, it's a free subscription, but it's my way of giving back.
Awesome. Awesome. Lea, I am just so honored to have you with me today. It's such a great time with you. It's great to see you halfway across the country. I'm so looking forward to getting to your summit, the virtual summit in April, and then in the October live in-person summit. And, you know, you've made a difference in my life just getting to know you in the short period of time that I've known you. So thank you very much.
No, likewise, my friends, stay safe.
Yeah, everybody stay safe. John Fenton here, the CEO Sensei with Lea Woodford, an amazing, amazing entrepreneur. You can check her out at smartfem.com. You can go to the SmartFem Success magazine and really keep moving forward in your lives. Let's stay positive, and until next time.